Living life is stage. Hey, hey. 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 Love yourself first, explicitly. You owe it to yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dream. Living life is stage. Hey, hey. Living life is stage. Hey, hey. Living life is stage. Hey, hey. Living life is stage. Hey, hey.
Hey y'all, happy Tuesday and welcome to another episode of Living Life with Stae the Podcast. Y'all, today is actually the second day of March Madness, right? No. Today is the third day because I actually started on Sunday. I started at the real beginning of the week. So today is the third day of March Madness. So I'm super excited to be here. I am so glad that I decided to do this because it is keeping me on my toes with content. And what I also realized, which is so funny, I don't know why I didn't realize it before, but this is Women's History Month. So I have been booked and busy all month for Women's History Month so far with like speaking engagements and everything almost every day. So I'm training, I'm facilitating stuff. So I'm like, of course I need to be showing up live for Women's History Month. Hey, Amanda, thank you so much for tuning in. Happy Tuesday. Glad to see your face in the place. Hey, Deborah, thank you so much for tuning in and for saying hello to everyone. But yeah, y'all, it is Women's History Month and your girl has been working. I have been doing all the things. I'm telling you, I've been in front of somebody every day talking about self-love, soft skills, whatever, just all the things. So I am like, yes, I should have been going live every day this month because it's Women's History Month. And that's what I'm all about. I love to pour into and empower and give information to everyone. But of course, my first love, my first passion is, us. We are same. And, we are like the lowest supported, the least heard, the least appreciated out here. So yeah, I'm definitely a girl's girl. And I have so many exciting things still to come. I am going to be speaking on Thursday. I'm actually going to be facilitating a conversation, moderating a conversation for Women's History Month for the AIDS Outreach Center here in Fort Worth. Miss Kelly Allen Gray has given me the awesome opportunity to facilitate a conversation amongst about 8 different women just about, women and the things that we go through and our experiences with each other and our experiences with our male counterparts. And so we're going to be talking about everything. And we have a very, very wonderful, phenomenal group of women who are going to be joining me. Hey, Wallace, I appreciate you as well. Wallace bought me a new Apple Watch today, y'all. I'm so excited about it. Look, ain't that cute? Oh, it's 7-Eleven. Yes. So thank you so much. It was a just because gift and it surprised me so much. I was so super excited. I've been wanting a new Apple Watch because my Apple Watch was over 10 years old. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to go to sleep tonight because it's like monitors your sleep and everything. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, but thank you so much for the Apple Watch today. But yeah, we're just going to be talking about, all the things. And so I am really super, super excited about that. I am doing a vision board with the city of Fort Worth employees tomorrow because vision boards are not just about the beginning of the year. As a matter of fact, hey, Vonda, thank you so much. Yes, one of my very first Life for Tribe members and has always been there to support. So I'm glad you were able to catch us live. Yeah, because those notifications, they don't always be working, but I'm going to be going live every day through March 31st. But I'm doing a vision board because I don't feel like vision board should be just for the beginning of the year. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of anti the vision boards in the beginning of the year because the beginning of the year is very hectic for a lot of us, right? So we have the Christmas holidays. Well, first of all, for a lot of people, it starts in October, especially if you have kids. It starts in October with Halloween, and then we're going right into Thanksgiving. Then we're going into the Christmas holidays, and of course, my birthday and Vonda's birthday. Like, it's a lot. Then we have New Year's and Wallace and I's anniversary. It's a lot going on. And so then we decide, for whatever reason, hey, Dolores, how are you? How are you? And thank you, Amanda. I'm trying to keep up with all these comments. And y'all, I literally have 3 monitors in front of me, but it looks like Facebook is playing a little better with YouTube, where I'm seeing more of the comments. But we have so many things going on. And then all of a sudden we get to the end of December after Christmas, or some of us not until January 1st. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going into a new year. And this is actually a great segue for today's topic. So yeah, I'm going to pat myself on the back for that because I felt like I was rambling, but I'm like, no, this is still on topic. But we get to the end of the year, or for some of us, we get to the first of the year and it's like, oh my goodness, I'm going into a new year. What am I going to do? I need to make all these goals, right? I need to make all this stuff happen. I need to sit down and write it down. I need to do a vision board. I need to get my new agenda for the new year and start planning. So I want to make at least 6 figures in my business by the end of this year, or by midpoint in the year. Or, hey, Tim, thank you so much for being here. And I believe I made you a moderator, Tim. So I think I figured it out. So let's see if it works. I don't know how you can test it out. Or I guess on YouTube, I can't see it, but maybe do you have the little wrench? But yeah, whatever it is. But hey, Tim, I think I made you a moderator today. I think I did. And y'all, yes, please thumbs up, show your girls some support, share the live out if you can on Facebook, wherever, so we can continue to build this tribe. You know, I'm all about building a tribe for all of us. So, oh, you don't have the, so I don't know. And now I'm looking, who did I make a moderator? Because that was not the profile picture. Okay, we're going to get it figured out. So somebody around here named Tim Windsor is a moderator. We're going to figure it out. I'm going to get it figured out because I definitely need that and I appreciate you. But yeah, and so we do all this stuff in the beginning of the year and it's hectic. So we really haven't had any time to plan, which is why so many people by the end of January, definitely by the beginning of February, have just completely given up. They're no longer even looking at the vision board. They're, already a month or so into that agenda and they haven't held up to anything that they put in there because you put too much pressure on yourself. It's like, to me, coming off of all the hoopla of the holidays and all that, I'm just of the mindset is I just let January, let it do what it's going to do and guide me in whatever direction that the new year, like I got to get a feel for the new year, because the new year does feel different for me. Y'all, thanks so much for saying hi to my boo. The new year does feel different for me, but I have to get a hold of what it's going to feel like. So I say all that to say we are doing an end of quarter one after we've got to feel the new year, after we've kind of got our footing. Now that we're back into regular life, we are doing a vision board session tomorrow with myself and the employees of the city of Fort Worth. And so I encourage any of you who maybe have already done your vision board and gotten discouraged, or maybe you didn't do one, whatever, now is a good time, because 2024 has kind of shown us where we're going. And so now we can build on what we've already been doing. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow. And so that leads me into today's topic, which is embracing failure and turning your setbacks into successes. And for me, I don't even really like to use the word failure because it has such a negative connotation. And so many people are afraid of the word failure, which is why sometimes they don't step out and do certain things, because they're afraid of the failure. They're afraid of the rejection. And so what I like to call what would typically be looked at as a failure as an opportunity for growth, a life lesson. Sometimes it's a stepping stone. Sometimes it's actually protection from something. So to me, the only time you could look at any missed opportunity or anything that you didn't quite succeed at the way that you expected to or the way you wanted to, the only way it could be truly looked at as a failure is if you didn't learn anything from it, if you didn't heed, if it didn't take you in some different direction, if you didn't share the experience with somebody else. Like, that's the only way it could be a failure, is if you allowed yourself to go through something that didn't work out quite the way you expected and you just got nothing from it. Like, you didn't share the experience with someone else who might have been headed in that direction. You didn't learn that maybe you needed to pivot in whatever you were doing. If you just let it happen and you just felt sorry for yourself and you gave up, then yeah, maybe that's a failure. But if you continue to push through and you learn something from it and you do something different, even if what you learn is what not to do, then how is that a failure? And I think that as much as a lot of us may suffer with self-esteem issues sometimes when it comes to certain things in life, or maybe we're dealing with lack of confidence. Maybe we feel like we don't have the support we need. Maybe we don't feel like we have the resources we need. As much as we deal with some things like that, as far as our mindset, I think we also deal with, which goes along with what I talked about the other day, with imposter syndrome, we also deal with the mindset of thinking we always have to be perfect and we have to win every single time in everything we do and everything we put our hands on. Like, we feel like we have to have the Midas touch. Everything I touch turns to gold. And so we have this like lack of confidence, but it pushes us into this perfectionism mindset. And so instead of moving forward, we'll just decide to do nothing. Like, okay, that didn't work. I failed. That was a miss. So now I'm just not going to do anything because I didn't like the way that made me feel. And like I was talking about yesterday, change, progression, success isn't always going to be comfortable, but nothing happens in the comfort zone. But we allow ourselves to be more secure in that comfort, but really we're just becoming complacent. And we have this unrealistic expectation of ourselves that when we do something, it has to work perfectly, or that means we failed, which is so far from the truth. And if you allow yourself to stay in that mindset and don't turn these setbacks into successes, and I really, just to give y'all a little, behind the scenes, the only reason I really did this title with turning setbacks into successes is just because I like the way it sounded. We're using two S's, but setbacks isn't really how I look at it, because again, how is it a setback if you've learned something from it? How is it a setback if you've decided to do something differently because of it? How is it a setback if you've shared what your experience has been with someone else to help them not have to go through the same thing? It's really not a setback. Like they say too, access delayed is not access denied. So sometimes what we look at as a failure and we look at as something where we didn't win, we didn't do what we needed to do, we didn't accomplish what we want. It's just that we didn't accomplish it the way we wanted and when we wanted. It doesn't mean that we're not going to eventually accomplish it. I'm trying to go ahead and put the link in here because y'all know I'm really bad with that, because as always, anyone who has a question, has someone who wants to share, who just wants to sit up here with me and keep me company, y'all are always welcomed to join me on stage. So I just went ahead. Hey, how are you doing, Mr. Wilkerson? Good to see you. Wilkinson, I'm sorry. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining in. But yeah, so y'all are welcome to join me up here if you so desire. I welcome the company. But anyway, that's the thing. We have to get out of our own heads. And sometimes that failure is just the thing that we needed and we give up on it before we even get to the other side. Like a lot of times, oh, you're welcome. Anytime, anytime. A lot of times, what happens is that failure is just comes about to show you a different way. So we've all heard the saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So for instance, I have had times in, hey, Vivacious, or was it Vicious Jenkins? Look, I'm like, hey, Vivacious, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. But a lot of times, what can happen is you can have a plan, right? And so you have decided that you want to start ABC business. And so you feel as though you are qualified for it, you've done the research, and you're ready to go. And once you get started with the business, things just aren't working quite the way you wanted them to work. And so you're noticing some flaws in your plan. But again, you're brand new. You've never done this before. And even if you've been in business before, I can tell you, as a serial entrepreneur, it doesn't matter how long you've been in business. When you change the type of business that you're in and you decide to go down another road, it is a whole different education. It is a whole new learning curve. Some things about business kind of remain the same as far as your paperwork and things like that, but you never really know business in its entirety. So I have done some different businesses and I have had to, oh, okay. Hey, Verona, good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm sorry I was messing up the name. I be trying to look everywhere, and y'all know I'm a woman of a certain age. I'm a little seasoned. The eyes aren't as keen as they used to be. But there is a learning curve. And so I've had different businesses everywhere from an event planning company. I've had a successful tax business. We have owned 18 wheelers, had a trucking company. We've had different businesses, but each time I entered into one of those businesses, I had to learn a different skill set. Like that's what really is funny to me. You hear on TV a lot, they'll call people a businesswoman or a businessman. I'm like, I don't know what that is. I love what Jay-Z said. You know, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Y'all get it? Y'all get it? Yes, y'all know the Jay-Z stuff, but that's my thing. But that's how I feel. I am like a walking, talking business in and of itself. But I dibble and dabble in different things, but I have to learn. I can't run my event planning business the same way I run my soft skills business. Can't run my soft skills business the same way I run my tax business. So with that, in learning, that means there's going to be some mistakes made along the way. But the thing is, you have to acknowledge what those mistakes are and then dissect the mistake and see what you can learn from that mistake and what you can do differently moving forward. If you just chalk it up as an L and just move on to something else, guess what? There's going to be a failure there as well. And so if you're the type of person who just can't take failure, hey, Alan, thank you so much for tuning in. Good to see you. There's a successful businessman right there, Mr. Preston. But if you just every time you fail at something, just feel like, okay, I'm just not good at that. That's not for me. And you decide to do something else. Guess what? Hey, Lisa, guess what? You're going to fail again, and you're never going to truly see success because you're not looking at your failures in the right way. Sometimes things just need to be tweaked a little bit. Sometimes it means that maybe you just need to seek a mentor. And sometimes it does mean that that might not be the exact business for you, but you need to use that failure to figure out what it is. Being afraid of failure, being afraid to make a mistake will cause you to be very unstable and just jumping around from thing to thing to thing and not being able to ever really find true success. Because one thing that I can tell you is unless you are a lottery winner or someone just gifts you with something, there is no such thing as an overnight success. Even people who look like, and that's why I say, unless you're a lottery winner or someone just hands you something, a lot of people who we look at as overnight successes, that's just because we're just now seeing them. We don't know their journey. So to us, they just popped up on the scene. We saw them one time and they're just blowing up, but we don't know how many times they failed in the past. We don't know how much work they have put into this. We're only seeing the success part of it. And because we didn't see the journey, because we didn't see the times Hey, Keisha, how are you? I'm so glad you were able to be here today. Yeah, I'm going to be live every day, y'all. Same bat time, same bat place until March 31st. And then I'm going to go to my regular scheduled programming. But I'm doing this March Madness stuff. So I'm glad y'all hanging in here with me and I'm not just talking to myself. But y'all know I would. If y'all didn't show up, I'd still be here and y'all can catch the replay because I'm going to do it. But the thing is, we don't see the journey. And so that's where the imposter syndrome comes in. Sometimes we get in our own heads. We feel like we're having all the success and it looks so much easier for everybody else, because I'm sure there are those of us who said that it just, everybody else just seems they start their business, they do whatever, and they're making all the money, they're having all this kind of success. But again, we haven't seen the journey. I guarantee you that they have had some failures. Most millionaires, unless they've inherited their money, inherited their business, have failed several times, have been broke, lost everything, and had to start all over again before they were able to find any type of stable success. Most people in business have tried multiple businesses before they found the one that stuck. Let me get in these comments. It looks like everyone is saying hello. Keisha was saying hi. People saying hello to each other. Let me see, making sure I'm not missing any questions or comments. So true, Stae. The fear of failure can be so debilitating, it stops you in your tracks. Yeah, and it's like, and it's really not a big deal. To me, it's the fear of failure and not even giving yourself the shot. That's what's scary for me, because I'm a person who refuses to live in the woulda, shoulda, coulda. I'm going to go ahead, give it my best shot. If it works, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too, because what I've done is I've learned something and figured out what I need to do next, or what I don't need to do, what I need to do more of, what I need to stop doing, whatever it is. Because if you have that fear of failure, and I said this yesterday, but you still have a desire to do something else, you have aspirations to do something greater, but you're letting that fear of failure, that fear of rejection, the fear of what other people are going to think and how it's going to look to other people, if you're letting that keep you from trying, then you're failing right there. And that's what people don't understand. It's like, so I'd rather fail trying than failing to try. Does that make sense? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Y'all need to write that one down. Just make sure you said you got it from me. I'd rather fail trying than fail to try. Because if you fail to try, then you never know what could have been. Hey, Bougie, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And so for me, I'd rather fail and have something to show for it, have a lesson learned, a new idea, have something to share, than to my failure be like, yeah, I just never tried. And so now here I am, 80 years old, wishing that I would have done something different, wishing that I would have bet on myself, wishing that I would have took that shot. And that is what failing is about. Denzel Washington said it best when he said, it is fine to fail as long as you're failing forward. And failing forward just simply means taking it on the chin, taking that L every once in a while, but continuing to move forward. If you let that failure stop you dead in your tracks, then to me, that's just like a double failure, because you didn't even take the lesson that it was there to teach you. You learned nothing from it, and you're never going to reach your goal at all. It's just like with football, basketball, anything. They have a goal each and every time they get that ball. The goal is to score. Sometimes they make it down there. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes that basket goes in the hoop. Sometimes it doesn't. But what would ever happen? Would we even ever have a game if every time they didn't make it all the way, everybody just sat down and said, well, I'm done. I'm not going to do it. I tried. And I was telling a story the other day about my oldest son, Denzel. He was blessed with the talent to be able to play basketball, like literally since he was a toddler. Like we could just tell he was 2 years old with that little Fisher Price type of basketball hoop, and he had good form. Hey, Kelly, thank you so much for being here. Hey. And so he had good form and he had a passion for basketball from a little kid. Anything, whether it was blocks, his toy cars, whatever was put in his hands, that boy was shooting it like it was a basketball. And so that was his passion, and he worked on it and worked on it. And so he was really good at basketball at a very young age. And so when he was maybe 7 years old, I would say, playing on his first organized basketball team, but they were really little, but it was organized basketball. They were playing other teams. He was what they considered a ball hog. And so the kids would get mad because he was a lot faster, a lot more coordinated, and just kind of knew the game better than most of the other 7, 8-year-olds who were out there. And so if that ball was loose or whatever, he got it and he was not passing the ball. And so a lot of kids would get so mad because they're like, oh my gosh, Denzel's such a ball hog. But his thing was, if I don't try to shoot the ball every single time I get it, how am I ever going to get good at making these baskets? And that was his mindset as a 7-year-old, because he didn't know anything about being a ball hog, whatever. He was like, we all just out here to do our thing. We're all trying to score. And it was his first time playing organized basketball. But in his mind was, every time I get this ball, my job is to try to shoot it because that's what I want to be great at. And sometimes it went in and sometimes it didn't. But in his mind, every single time I get it, I'm going to try, because I'm never going to perfect this if I don't try every single time. And the funny part about it is, as the season went on and Denzel, because a lot of times with parents, they want their kids to play and they're all there for their kids, but they like to win too, because a lot of these parents are out here living through their kids. And so what they want is for their kid to be on a winning team. Now, if their kid can be a part of that winning effort, great. But if not, they just want the win. And so probably halfway through the season, most of the parents were telling their kids, give the ball to Denzel, give the ball to Denzel, because they knew if Denzel got the ball, there was a good chance that they were going to score, because Denzel wasn't afraid of failing. Denzel was going to take that ball to the hoop every single time. And the thing is, the only way you can ever make a basket, the only way you can ever score a point, the only way you can ever find any success is to continue to shoot your shot. You have to continue to shoot your shot. You have to continue to take your chance. You have to continue to put yourself out there and risk the possibility of failing so that you can find that success on the other side. And that's how I want us all to be in our lives. And this stuff doesn't only pertain to business. It pertains to our personal lives as well, and in relationships. Especially, as we get older sometimes, and maybe we find ourselves in that season of singleness. We've been married and divorced, or maybe in a long-term relationship. And now all of a sudden, maybe a spouse has passed away, whatever it is, but you find yourself in the season of singleness. And, a lot of us seasoned people like to say that we are set in our ways. This is how I am. It's non-negotiable. And so we get in this dating pool and we feel like there's no good men out there. There's no good women out there. I'm not good at relationships. I keep failing at relationships. But I would like to lend to you the possibility of maybe you're giving up too soon. Maybe because you're so afraid of having another failed marriage, or so afraid of having another failed relationship, that as soon as something doesn't seem perfect, you just walk away. You don't take the opportunity to figure out what it is and risk the possibility of failing. Because when it comes to relationships, I'm not saying I'm the last person to tell you to waste tons and tons of time, but when you're being like super nitpicky and you're just expecting somebody to check all the boxes. And what I say about that as well is, if you ain't checking all the boxes, don't be expecting somebody else to check all the boxes. And I say that to say, none of us are checking all of the boxes. We're not even checking all the boxes for ourselves. And that's why we find ourselves in so much turmoil all the time and trying to make these decisions, because we got stuff that we need to work out. Let me see. Let me go back up here because I've been seeing oh, J3 done joined the chat. Hey, J3. Okay, it looks like everybody is just saying hello. No, Bougie said have a plan A, B, C, and D. Right. Yeah, my plans never stop. I love the fact that you put A, B, C, D, etc. There's always going to be another plan. My whole life is the plan B because guess what? I'm not going to stop. And when you really have that desire to have success in whatever part of your life is in, you're not going to be able to be willing to stop. And that's how you really know what you're passionate about, because when you're passionate about something, it's not going to allow you to stop. It's like, no, we're going to have to figure this thing out because I know this is what I want to do. I know that I'm capable. It's just I need to tweak some things. Maybe I need to get a mentor. Maybe I need to take some courses, whatever it is. Maybe I need therapy, whatever it is. But I know that I'm going to do it. And so it might not work this way, but it's going to work another way. And one thing I also believe in is if other people can do it, so can I. And so you're seeing other people out here being successful. You're seeing other people do all the things, but just quit getting in your head thinking, well, that's for them. That's not for me. Or it's just easier for some people. Or, you know, people like me just don't get that. Or people just give them things. Or people just don't like me. Quit with the stinking thinking. Quit with all the negative self-talk. Because when you come to me with stuff like that, all I'm hearing is excuses. Because it's no different. We all have opportunities. I'm not saying that things can't be easier for some people than other people, but easier is not always better. I don't mind having to put in a little extra elbow grease. I don't mind having to do a little extra work because you appreciate things much more. You value things much more, and you take more pride in things when you've had to put a little skin in the game. And so I'm not a person who's looking for a handout ever. You can give me some help. You can give me some education. You can give me some advice, but a handout, it's not going to hit the same as when you have to work hard for it. I'm doing something every day. I'm on here preaching, teaching, or just running my mouth, but I'm doing something, Alan. Thank you for the thumbs up, bestie. Yes, true, Stae. We aren't checking all the boxes, but we put so much expectation on others. Right. And the thing is, there's just, Keisha, it's inevitable because again, we go back to that unrealistic idea of perfectionism. And none of us are perfect. That is the big secret. None of us are perfect. So why do we get into relationships, enter into businesses, get jobs and whatever, and we're seeking perfection? And we're seeking perfection from others. We're seeking perfection for ourselves. And again, so many things that we do are what is causing us to fail because we're not looking at it the right way. Let's see. You don't want handouts. They may come with strings attached. Yes, that is so true. That is so true. And it's just something about that sense of accomplishment. You know, when you've done the dirty work, had the boots on the ground, the hands in the dirt, and you've built it, that is just such an accomplishment. It just feels so good to know that I've done this. And again, none of us are an island and all of us can use some help from time to time, but it's not a handout. We strive for perfection. We do. And see, and I've tried to change that dialogue. I've tried to put the whole thing of perfectionism, all of that out of my mind. What I have tried to substitute that for, or have substituted that for, Alan, is excellence. I always want to operate in excellence. And what excellence means is my intention every single time I set out for any task is to do the absolute best that I can, everything in my power, knowing that I'm giving it my all. Not even going to try to strive for perfectionism because I think that's where the gray area comes in and our whole vision can be clouded. But when I am striving for excellence, then that means I've literally given you everything I can, because there's going to be some flaw in it at some point, and you can always find something that's not quite right. But if I've given it my 100% best, then that's excellence for me. But I definitely get it. I just have had to, you know, through my coaching and everything, just try to find a different word to phrase it. And so that we can always leave that perfect as something that's just not obtainable. Perfection isn't for us. And for any of you who are spiritual people or whatever, you get what I'm saying. perfection was never for us. And so, but what we can do is be excellent and constantly striving to be a better version of ourselves than we were the day before. Bougie said, that reminds me of when I went camping for the first time. I needed help with my tent. I told them, I just want you to tell me what to do and I'll do it myself. Yeah, because what did they say? Give a man a fish, he'll eat today. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat forever. And I'm like that too. I'm like, no, let me do it. Don't tell me. Let me figure it out. I'll let you know if I need some help. Show me, let me watch you, whatever it is. And that's the thing. I am a lifelong learner. I love to watch other people. That's why I feel like mentors are so great. And again, do not just think about mentors when it comes to business. I have mentors as far as my personal life as well. There are certain people where I just love the way they navigate their relationships, whether it's their business relationships, their personal relationships, romantic relationships. There's just some people in different parts of my life who I see how they're working in whatever it is, and I like to emulate that. I want to watch it. And so I have all different types of mentors. Another secret that people don't always realize is your mentors don't even need to necessarily know that they're your mentors. You can have mentors who you don't know. You can have mentors who you just watch from afar. You can have mentors who are deceased. If there is someone who you have read a lot about and you've really taken a deep dive into how they work their business or how they were in life and what they did for community. You know, Martin Luther King Jr. can be a mentor. It's just the fact that there's someone who you admire, you like the way they moved, and you want to emulate some of those things in your own life in different aspects of your life. And so I have a lot of mentors. I had a young lady come to me one day and she wanted to meet with me about being her coach. And so when we sat down and talked about it or whatever, it just wasn't going to fit for her at that time in her life. And I didn't have the capacity to do what she needed me to do. And so she said, well, I'm feeling like the coaching thing really isn't going to work for me right now, but I just really admire you and the work that you do. And I want to do some of the things that you do. And I just really want to learn from you. And I said, well, I definitely wouldn't mind mentoring you, because mentoring and coaching are not necessarily the same, but from the things that you're telling me you want, you can still glean a lot of what it is that you're looking for from me by being your mentor. And she's like, so, you know, what does that look like? Are we going to talk every week? Are we going to set something up? Because I've never really had a mentor. And I'm like, oh, no. No, that's not how it is. Mentoring is already kind of what you're doing. You've been watching me. You see what I do. You want to do the things that I can do. If you want me to be your mentor, you just need to watch closer. You need to follow me closer. You need to pay more attention and then try to emulate some of those things in your life that you see me doing. Not to say that you can never ask me a question, not to say that you can never come to me, but we don't need to have a regular meeting in anything formal in order for me to be your mentor. And she's like, really? Well, I thought with mentors that you meet. And I'm like, no, those are more of mentor programs and things that people do, you know, in youth groups and things like that, just to kind of get kids accustomed to it. I said, but in real adult life, mentoring doesn't look like that. Now, if you have the ability to meet with your mentor and run some things by your mentor, that's fine, but it doesn't have to be that way. Because when I told her, I said, yeah, just watch me closer. She was like, what? But again, I have mentors who don't even know they're my mentors. That's a good idea for the mentors. Absolutely. I don't believe in recreating the wheel, right? Whatever it is, again, whether it's personal or professional, I don't have to recreate the wheel, and I don't have to do things my way all the time. I don't need to bump my own head. I can learn from other people's mistakes. So again, that's why I call myself a lifelong learner. If I see somebody and they're doing something in a way that is attractive to me, I'm going to pay attention and do it that way. And if I need to make some tweaks along the way, I'll make some tweaks along the way. But for the most part, you give me the recipe, I'm going to go ahead and follow it to the T, because I don't have to take credit for how it's done. I just need to make sure that it's done. And so I don't need to recreate anything. So I watch people closely, I pay attention, and I make it fit me and my needs. You have became my mentor in so many ways. I love it. Oh, thank you so much, Amanda. That does my heart good. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I appreciate it. And that's what I do this for. It's like I have had so many experiences in my life, both personal and professional, where I just felt like I was just out there and I didn't have anybody to talk to me like this. I didn't even know what a mentor was. Like when I was young, I knew the word mentor, but I literally thought it was just something like for business people and, whatever. I didn't really know what that was. And I also was not surrounded by a lot of people who were interested in the same things that I was interested in. And so it has just been my mission since the light bulb kind of went off and I did the things I needed to do and found my groove that I want to be able to be there for as many people as I can be, the way I wish someone could have been there for me. So you just don't know, when I get comments like that, inboxes like that, emails, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's not like a big head thing. It's nothing that I'm feeling puffed up or arrogant about. It really just gives me the peace and understanding of knowing I'm doing exactly what I was supposed to do. And so I always thank you for those comments. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, yeah, I don't need credit for the recipe. As long as it turns out good, I'm good. I definitely believe in working smarter, not harder. And there are people who have gone ahead of us and have paved the road. And again, if you need to tweak a little something here and there, that's fine. But yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I may not say much, but I'm sitting back journaling so much and applying it to my daily life. That's awesome, Amanda. That's awesome. And just knowing that I've said something along the way that you have felt is useful in your life, again, it just does my heart good. It just makes me be able to lay my head down at night and just feel like, okay, this is it. Because that's what I truly believe when you talk about, the failures and successes. That's another part of it. If you ever have a desire to help anyone else, even if you've had a failure in your life that you didn't quite bounce back from, if you weren't able to make it work, again, whether it was business or professional, to be able to share it with someone else so that they don't make the same mistake, to be able to give that information. And so much of my journey has been about that, because I've had certain failures in my life where circumstances wouldn't allow me to continue to push through. I had to do something different. And I did wonder, like, why did that even happen? Because I've never had that type of give up personality. But every once in a while, life will throw you that curveball where you really feel like you don't have any choice. And I've kicked myself about things like that. Like, that's not even me. And, I ended up having to give up on that or not be able to get back to that. And then it may be 5-10 years down the line, I run into somebody who's going through something very similar. And then I'm able to lend them some support, some resources, some advice, because I've been there. And it's in those moments where I'm like, that's why I went through that, because that's the kind of person I am. And my entire journey has been preparing me for days like today and days like tomorrow when I'm in front of that group, and for days like Thursday when I'm sitting with those women. And that's something I want to talk about. I don't have, let me see. Let me go to this last comment. Hello to him. Oh, I was getting my dinner. Yeah, I'm going to be eating after this. I'm jealous, Tim, but yeah. Wallace and I were trying to decide about an hour ago, did I want to start cooking now or after? And we decided after. So yeah, but this is something I'm going to do a little commercial break. And I actually should have had a real commercial in a video. I didn't even think about it until just now. But y'all know I'm doing March Madness. So the plan is for me to be live every day through March 31st. However, I did have a previous engagement, which I already mentioned to y'all earlier in this episode. I am going to be moderating, facilitating a conversation with a group of phenomenal women on Thursday. And this is being sponsored by the AIDS Outreach Center in Fort Worth. It is actually about the same time. I think we're either starting at 6 or 7. So I won't be live my regular way, but I am going to be live on their platform. So I'm going to be sharing out that link. I've already put it on my Facebook page. I'll also put it in my private Facebook group. So for those of you, because I don't think I can accept any more Facebook friends, I think I'm at capacity with Facebook friends, but you can still follow me on Facebook, but I'll be sure to put it in my Facebook group as well. And so if you're not already a member of the Facebook group, let me go ahead and put that in the chat so you can look it up. It's 15 to Life, your daily self-love sentence. Oops, I can't spell. All right, y'all get it. I don't know if I typed it all correct or not. But if you would like to join that group, just go to Facebook and look up 15 to Life, your daily self-love sentence. I will put it there. I will also put it on my community tab here in YouTube so that y'all can join me live on Thursday for that conversation. Because unfortunately, I can't be in two places at one time, but I'll make sure that I get the information out there. And then I'm also going to be going live here, the next couple of days. So I'll be able to put the link. I wish I would have had it ready today, but I just didn't even think about it. But if you would like to be a part of that private group, because we do a lot of just inspiration, and that 15 to Life is about taking at least 15 minutes every day for your self-care. Let's see. So Tim May, so you're just trying to really make us hungry. I fried up some chicken, mashed potatoes, and gravy and green beans. Yes, that definitely sounds good. I'm making salads. So I'm saying cook. I'm really not even cooking. I'm trying to get this healthy lifestyle journey, y'all. I'm telling y'all, this being 52 is kicking your girl's butt, but I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm definitely, whatever it takes, I'm going to figure it out and get control. But yeah, that definitely, Wanda said, that sounds good. Yeah, that definitely sounds good. But yeah, sometimes your supposed failures aren't even about you. And so you need to kind of keep that. I know, right, Kelly? I'm like, got me hungry. I'm like, okay, y'all ready to wrap this up so I can make my salad? But I'm making a sub salad. So it's like a sub, but without the bread. So yeah, you do got to cheat sometime. But that's the key word, sometimes, because your girl. The candy has got me. I have been eating Mike and Ike's and Sour Patch Kids like every day, and I don't know why. And I'm not a big sweets person. Like when it comes to cookies, cakes, and pies, I can pass that up. But you give me some good old penny candy from back in the day, and I actually left the house the other day just to go get some. So yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. But yeah, you need to keep a mental Rolodex of what these supposed failures are. And even if you feel like you didn't learn anything from them, think about how many people you shared them with. Think about how many people you've helped from making the same mistakes that you made by just sharing your cautionary tale. And so just realize that it's all a part of the process. And that's the key word, process. There is no microwave, quick road, press and play, plug and play to success. Not in success in business, not in success in our personal lives. Our relationships need to be nurtured, need to be cultivated. We need to be able to, figure things out, navigate things. Just because you run into a bump in the road does not mean that your relationship is a failure. You have to be able to go the distance. Let me see, what did Tim say? I'm a database, so I watch what I eat tonight was my cheat night. Yeah. Yeah, and it's good. That's the thing. We can't deprive ourselves all the time. Or again, that's the kind of thing that ends up in failure. You deprive yourself all the time. That's not realistic. And back to the perfectionist, even when it comes to diet, exercise, you're not going to be perfect. But what happens a lot of times with that, and I've been guilty of that, you have a cheat day, or you have, a week where you just don't feel like exercising, or you just didn't eat right, and then you just kind of give up. No, you can't do that. And like in this case, you have diabetes. Like giving up, that could be very detrimental to your health. And so it's like, no matter what, you have to be able to keep going. And just think about it. Like, for those of you who are parents, I'm sure that your parenting journey has not been perfect. I'm sure, as much as we'd like to think so, our children are not perfect. But whenever there was a failure, whether it was a failure on the parents' end or a failure on the child's end, did you just give up? Did you just throw them away and say, you know what? I'm not going to parent you no more. You keep messing up. I'm not going to parent you anymore. I keep messing up. I'm not going to parent you anymore. No, you keep trying and you learn from that. I take my drive to work listening to any of your content that I've missed because I value your knowledge and wisdom. And that's where I feel like you are my mentor. Oh, Vonda, thank you so much, girl. Now, you know I don't cry, but I felt it welling up for a second because, y'all, this is like my lifelong friend, like my oldest friend that I have been in contact with for the most of my life. And so she knows me when she has seen me through the ebbs and flows. She's seen me with the business success, business failures, relationship failures, relationship success. And so for her to see me through all of it, you know, the parental successes and failures, and still feel like I can add value, again, it's just like confirmation for me. And that's what I appreciate, because it hasn't always been easy. And there are times that I've doubted myself. And just like the kind words I'm getting here from all of you, and, you know, especially from Vonda, for somebody who can definitely say, I know you win, or I knew you win, it just means so much, because I've had people who have also known me for a long time who have held my failures of the past against me and have said the opposite, like, you can't teach me anything. I saw when you messed this up, or, you know, didn't you have such and such business and try to close that down? How are you going to be giving people business advice? So, and I kept pushing through because I felt like I had something to offer. And I felt like all of those things are exactly what made me an excellent person to share this information, because how can you tell people how to get to the other side of failure, how to get to the other side of sadness, how to get to the other side of destruction or anything, if you haven't been through anything? And so even though I always knew in my heart and my mind that I was more than capable to be that person, it still feels good to get that validation. And people will say, oh, validation ain't for people, it's for parking. I don't need anybody to validate me. And I call BS on that, because we're all human and we all have that desire every once in a while. It doesn't have to be an everyday thing. I don't need anybody in my face every day saying, oh, you're great, you're doing a good job, oh, you're on the right track. But it still feels good to get that every once in a while. I don't know anyone who gets praise or accolades who's like, oh, I don't want to hear that, I don't need that. No. And so it feels good to get that validation and confirmation, to know that what I was feeling and what I was being drawn towards and pulled to, even through all my failures, I was on the right track. So I appreciate you so much, V. Oh, thank you, Tim. Thank you. And we appreciate y'all, because without y'all, there is no us. We would just be sitting here talking to each other. Yeah, there's no crying on YouTube, right? You know, that's why I say there's no crying nowhere. I'd rather look to a person who's been through something and did things that were wrong than someone that paints a perfect picture. Yeah, I say that all the time. It's like, you know, there has to be a journey. There has to be some sort of struggle. Like, people want to see the win in the end, but they want the success story. They want to see how you relate and how I've been there. You laughing at me, Kelly? I'm crazy, right? How, okay, you were where I was and you still made it through. You still made it out. You had some failures, but you were still able to succeed. Because if it's just like, oh no, I woke up like this, I just been a success since day one, then what do I have to share? That's what keeps people feeling like they can't make it and feeling like they can't afford to have any failures and not wanting to try, because so many people try to come and show this persona of this perfect life. I've never made a mistake. Butter wouldn't melt in my mouth. This is just how I am. And so people who are dealing with real life issues are like, well, dang, then I won't be able to do anything. And that's why I am so transparent and candid and open with things about me. Like, I am literally an open book. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you can ask me absolutely anything and I'm going to tell you all my business. I mean, there is such thing as privacy, but for the most part, I do pretty much. Why y'all crawling on the floor? Wallace trying to take the dog outside. He don't want to, I guess, pop up in my background. So they doing the army crawl.
Just do your live.
Anyway, but what was I saying, Wallace? I don't even remember. But people like the journey. You know, people like the journey. People like to be able to relate. People like to see, like, okay, so you're just like me. Back in my first lady days, and y'all know I mention this all the time, when Wallace was pastoring the church, our church was like, I guess what you would call in an inner city, in a more poverty-stricken type of area. And a lot of the kids there and adults, you know, hadn't experienced a lot of stuff. Some of them had been born and raised and lived in that area of Fort Worth all their lives, and maybe had never even been downtown Fort Worth. Maybe they had never even been to Dallas, definitely not out of the state. And so when Wallace was called to pastor that church, I was who I was. So, you know, I like to dress nice. I like nice cars, nice things. And so there was someone who brought to question that whether or not I was equipped to be a first lady at that church in that area, because they said, yes, Stae is always walking in there with her nice clothes, her stilettos, her designer this, and her luxury car. And I just don't think that it's right when people in that church can barely afford to pay their bills, or, you know, they're on public assistance. And so for those reasons, she felt that I wasn't equipped, as if I was going to the church and flaunting everything I had or bragging on anything. And it was exactly the opposite, because first of all, before you speak on somebody, get to know that person, get to see what they're doing, attend that church, attend a seminar, have a conversation with them. Don't just be speaking on people just based on what you think you see. But my whole purpose is, first of all, I was me, dressing how I dress, driving what I drive, living where I live, doing what I did before we were ever called to that church. And so I'm not going to change it, because, again, the same God that took us to the church is the same God that blessed me and brought me through whatever he brought me through. But the point was, why would I come here doing and looking just like them? And so then they think that's all there is. Why wouldn't I come and be able to share my story and share my journey to let them know that on the other side of whatever this is, especially for the young people, there can be this. Like, I wanted them to see, I'm not a superstar. I'm not a billionaire. I'm nobody who is spectacular. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I just did the work, put a little effort into it, and I just live a regular life. And guess what? You can too. And so I made a point of doing things like taking small groups of them out to eat. And it may have not been anywhere but like Olive Garden, but most of them, if not all, had never even been to Olive Garden. And I wanted to show them that this is just regular. Like, this isn't a big deal. I wasn't bragging and boasting. And Cheryl Pelote says it best. I'm not doing this to impress you. I'm doing this to impress upon you that you can do it too. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to boast, because there's nothing to brag or boast about. I'm just living a regular life. But my main message for them was, even through your failures, even through the setbacks, even through the hard times, even through bad circumstances, even through negativity, even through not having the support of your parents, even through not getting the education that you deserve to get, there is still another side that you can get to if you don't give up and keep your mind focused on the positivity and believe in yourself, because that's all it takes is the belief in God and belief in yourself, and you can get through it to the other side. And so that's what I wanted to show those kids. Yeah, I'm going to come in here every single week, looking good, smelling good, doing good things, because I want you to know that if I can do it, you can do it too. So yeah, that's my soapbox on that. Yeah, I tell that story all the time because how dare she? And she had never been to my church one time, nor has she ever had a conversation with me. We met one time through a mutual friend at a social gathering, became friends on Facebook just from that short little chit chat. And she based that entire opinion of me based on pictures that she has seen at Facebook and knowing where the church was. Like, girl, do better. Always going to become always going to be someone judgmental of what we say or do or don't do, your history or your background. Absolutely. Because my thing is, while I'm over here doing this and trying to help the kids and just being me, all you doing is judging me, and your judgment of me doesn't matter to me or not. So why not use that energy and help somebody? Because that's what I'm doing. Keisha gave me an amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, I'm telling you, that first lady gig ain't for the faint of heart. But and the thing was, I had such a heart, or have such a heart still, for ministry and helping people. But I had to find a different way to do it where I was both giving and being fulfilled, because it can drain you when, because there can be toxicity even in church. I don't know if y'all know this, and that's a different show for a different day. But I just had to find a way to do ministry truly the way God called me to do ministry, which is what led me to iSalt and Running for Your Life. And it has just been so fulfilling to me, where I keep an overflowing cup, because there are people, I've been able to build a tribe of people who I was not forced in front of, but people who are drawn to me and people who are interested. And so they're not trying to tear me down. They're not looking for the cracks in the foundation. They're not looking for the flaws, because they came to me voluntarily. And that works so well for me, because then I don't have to keep my guard up, right? I can be 100% authentic with y'all. I don't have to worry about y'all stabbing me in my back, talking about me behind my back, tearing me down, because you're here because you want to be here. And that's what I love about my coaching clients, is because they're here because they want to be here, so I can give freely of myself. I can be myself and not have to worry about it. So what did Wallace say? What they eat don't fatten me. Yeah, that's a pretty regular saying around here at the Hall house, but that's so true. I'm checking over on Facebook to make sure I'm not missing anybody, but it looks like Facebook and YouTube and everything have played pretty nice together. But yeah, y'all, I just wanted to make sure, like I said, I'm not going to keep y'all long, because y'all going to be looking at my face every single day. So I'm not going to do the full hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever every single night. But I do want to use this opportunity over the next couple of weeks to just really touch on some things that are near and dear to my heart, outside of vlogging, outside of just regular content, where we can just have these candid conversations. And it's just such a blessing, like I said, that this happened to pop in my head during Women's History Month, where I'm literally doing this every day. And y'all just don't know, I had a coaching session today at Girls Inc. And somebody had asked me, like, does it just wear you out just giving and pouring into people all the time? And I'm like, no, it gives me energy. Now, I'm not going to say I don't come home and need to take a nap or whatever, but I am smiling in my sleep, because it just makes it so worthwhile. Like, this does as much for me as it does for anyone else who feels like they're getting something out of it. Even the books that I've written, like, I can still pick up my books and look at them and read certain passages and don't even remember writing it, because at that time I'm needing to be the reader, the consumer of the content. So this does a lot. This is therapy for me. This is confirmation for me. So it does a lot, but I'm not going to talk y'all to death, but I'm going to use these next couple of weeks to have these candid conversations. And I'll probably put something up on the community tab. So for any of you who aren't already subscribed to the YouTube channel and you're watching on Facebook, that's great. I appreciate you, but it really goes down on YouTube. So if you can jump over and subscribe to the YouTube channel, that's where I have the community tab, and I can put some announcements, because I'm also going to put up some kind of poll or questionnaire to find out, what kind of things y'all would like to talk about. If there's anything that you think that I might be able to share and help you with, put it in that community tab and let me know so that we can have conversations about things that you really want to talk about. Something that might be a pressing issue in your life right now, something you might be confused about, something you might just want more information about. And again, whether it's spiritual, business, relationship wise, whatever, I'm here for it. I'm an open book. And if I can help, I will. But I'm also a great resource and I'm not afraid to say I don't know. So come at me with anything. If I don't have the answer, if I don't feel that I'm qualified to talk about it, I bet you I can find somebody for you who can. So definitely let me know what kind of things you want to talk about. Yes, shout out to the L.Y.F.E tribe. Yes. I absolutely love the L.Y.F.E tribe. I appreciate you, Stae. You're such a genuine spirit. Thank you so much. And I don't know how to be nothing else. That's one thing. It's too hard to try to do or be something else. So I just be myself, but that's what I love. It's like, so those who get it, they're here. And anybody who doesn't, there's plenty of other people that they can choose from. Because I always say, I'm definitely not the only one out here to help. That's why I appreciate you guys so much for choosing me. But this has been amazing. As always, you guys make this so much fun. You make it so easy. I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in week after week, day after day, sharing with me and dropping in the comments. And I love the way you interact with each other. And please, like I said, share with any friends, family, coworkers who you think might benefit from these conversations, because I definitely know that there are more people out there who would be a great value add to this L.Y.F.E tribe. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do that as well. I know that I ask a lot, but I'm just trying to make this tribe grow as big as it can possibly be to benefit us all. I love you and your channel and content, Stae. Oh, thank you. Much love to you as well, Deborah. I appreciate your face being in the place all the time. Such an awesome supporter. Great conversation, 100%. I've enjoyed. Thank you, Amanda. You know I love you to bits and pieces. And so with that being said, y'all know the drill. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. I love you all to bits and pieces. You know the drill. Always be kind. Always love one another, but never forget to live your life. L-Y-F-E. Love yourself first explicitly. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Living life is game. Hey, hey. Living life is game. Hey. Hey, living life is game. Hey, hey, living life is game. Hey, hey, love yourself first, explicitly. You owe it to yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dream. Living life is game. Hey, hey.